remember when you could just, like, look shit up on the internet and it would just be there? You remember when that was a thing? When you could just use the internet and it would work? And you could find exactly what you looked up? That was a great time. That was a good time, even if it was sometimes for nefarious purposes, such as today, when the totally, definitely, 100% legal site that I was using to watch Fullmetal Alchemist decided that it wanted to become completely unusable and not let me use ad block anymore. That was crazy. So now I had to hunt down someplace else to watch it. It's not as simple as it used to be. I'm just saying. It was such simpler times. That's all I'm saying. Sailing the seven seas was a lot easier back in my day. Anyway, I think I found something that'll work. Let's hope. We will be watching episodes 23 and 24.
Edward, sir, that was some stir you caused. What happened to you in Lab 5?
Nothing much.
Nothing much. You and Al were seriously hurt.
Come on, I've had a lot worse. I was just one baby step away from getting my hands
Slap
on the
him.
truth.
Do it. Do it. Please. Please tell me they keep the slap.
I won't botch it next time.
Edward, sir.
Yes. Yes.
I apologize in advance for this.
Yes! Child abuse. Let's go. I'm joking. That's a joke. That is a joke. Don't.
You nearly died, and you put your brother at risk. You need to remember you're still a child.
Exactly. Yes.
And you have to start trusting adults with a little bit more of the work.
Ed, what the hell happened? Ed?
How should I know? I passed out.
Come on, boy.
Don't give me that. Just tell me what you saw, will you?
Come on.
Homunculi.
Oh.
You're kidding me. Artificial people?
That's right. Believe me, they weren't human at all.
Okay. I think we all know what I'm about to say. I love the build-up and the silence. That's so good. Just the pause and, like, even the, like, animation for conversation scenes tends to be on the simpler side of things, right? The way their eyes were drawn and their expressions worked so well. I want to try to start acknowledging the animation more. I know you guys can't really see super well what I'm talking about because I have to put the low opacity overlay. But, like, there's some really good animation in this show that I think deserves to be acknowledged. So I want to try to, like, start noticing it more whenever there's something animation-wise. But, like, the way the eyes are animated in pretty much any Fullmetal Alchemist medium, whether it's the manga, Brotherhood, one of the movies, or whatever, the art style, like Arakawa's art style, lends itself very, very well to eyes. Eyes are very intense in her art style, and that translates over to the anime, and so it's like, I fucking love Fullmetal Alchemist eyes. Yeah, I just love the way eyes are animated and drawn. Like, you can see here, as well as you can probably see it, just how intense Edward's expression is. Just Arakawa's art style for eyes is so good. It's actually, like, genuinely an inspiration to my own art. I very, very intentionally referenced the way Arakawa draws eyes for my own artwork, right? So I was like, well, I've had people comment before that my art style looks like Fullmetal Alchemist, which is intentional. It's the art style I have studied the most, is the manga style. But I very, very intentionally studied the way Arakawa draws eyes, because that is my favorite part of the entire art style, is the eyes. The eyes are so good.
I didn't do the maintenance on your automail the way I should have. And now, this is my fault.
No, don't say that. There's a lot of other things to blame, right, Al?
Right.
See there? And Al doesn't lie.
Yeah, but...
Your maintenance was perfect. It always has been. It's complicated machinery, and
Hey, Edward, maybe you should take notice of the fact that your brother is, having a moment. Surely you've realized this is not normal, or are you just suppressing it? Because that is always a possibility with Edward, that he's just trying to be like, oh, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. To be fair, I do think this is what he does in the manga as well. Right, because Edward kind of just keeps saying things, not really fully noticing that that Alphonse is not having a good time right now. But to be fair, this is also my reaction when I read the manga. I'm like, hey man, maybe ask your brother what's wrong. Because something is obviously wrong.
Sorry to interrupt, but there's a call from Colonel Mustang.
Oh. Okay, is this going to be the conversation I talked about? Where Hughes forgets to tell him that Edward is in the hospital. Is this that conversation? Now let's see if anything happens differently with this. Because this conversation in the manga is truly fascinating to me. It's like one of my favorite things. Because there isn't a definitive answer to the stuff I talked about before. So let's see.
Yo, Roy! Good timing! I've got great news!
What, your soldiers have found Scar?
No, you obsessed idiot. How would that be great news? Did you honestly forget? Tomorrow is Alicia's birthday. We're throwing her a party and everything.
Unless you want to become charcoal maze, you better tell me the news from Central.
Don't worry. If anything important happens, I'll let you know. Meantime, make sure you send my daughter a present. Bye now!
Okay, so he didn't tell him.
But sir, are you sure it's okay not to tell him anything about the boys?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Right now, it's better if he doesn't know anything.
Right.
But enough of that. You got those reports?
Yeah!
Okay. So he's intentionally not telling him this time. That's interesting. Ooh, that's good. That's good shit. I don't know if anything's gonna come of this later on. Oh my god, Hughes is about to die, isn't he? It's probably gonna be in this video, isn't it? It's either gonna be this video or the next one. No, don't do this to me. I don't want... He's the best character. He's the best character in 03. I don't want him to die. Oh man, this sucks. Okay. Oh.
Just do what she says, Ed. Drink the dumb milk.
Okay, so now you're noticing.
Yeah, sure.
Oh
Easy
my
for you to
god,
say, Al.
Edward.
You're lucky you didn't have to drink anything to get that big.
Jesus
Shut
Christ. Jeez.
It wasn't my choice to be this way.
Right, Al. I'm sorry.
Hey, what's wrong with you guys? Are you fighting? Al?
This is the real moment of truth for this arc. Let's see.
I've never seen you like this. Did something happen?
And again, oh my god, I just realized Ed probably thinks Al is upset about the whole, like, Philosopher's Stone thing. And, like, him almost, like, transmuting the Philosopher's Stone. That's probably what Ed is thinking. Again, it's that thing I talked about last time of, like, where they're both coming to the same place, but from very different angles. And it's kind of making the conflict really interesting.
Why is that? I've known you my whole life and you don't tell me anything. I'm standing here worrying about you guys, yet you don't have the decency to tell me why you're fighting, or how you got hurt, or anything important. It's always secrets with you.
Okay, so they're also making Winry.
I don't care anymore!
Well, I don't know how I feel about that. They might have just... Oh!
Hi, it's nice to finally meet you, Winry. I'm Ed Now's friend, the Lieutenant Colonel, or Maze Hughes.
Oh, hey.
Oh, and lest I forget, this here...
Of course. Okay. Kinda lost me a little bit there. Just a little bit. Granted, though, this is not egregious. It's not offensive, because Winry is 15, right? She's a teenager. She's a kid. She is acting like a teenager. I just don't know if it's really in character for Winry, though. Because again, like I said, good fan fiction is marked by good characterization. And Winry, she's almost too girly. I don't know if that's the right, like, air quotes, girly. Because that was, like, a very stereotypical teenage girl thing to, like, say and do. And at first I was into it when I was like, oh, we're bringing in Winry's issues too. Like, I'm kind of here for this. You know, I'm into that. I'm into, like, bringing all three characters together with this story arc. And at first it was good, but that ending kind of soured me a little bit. And now I'm not sure about the pacing of this with her running into Hughes. But you could still pull it off, right? But I just feel like Winry is too... I don't know what the word is. She's not having the same impact as like the manga version of her. Too emotional, maybe? I don't know. But that was the first time I've had Winry's character where I was like, she doesn't really feel like Winry to me. And that's the most important thing. You could do whatever you want with the characters as long as they feel like the same character. And I don't know if that really felt like Winry to me. But I don't know, Winry is an emotional person. Like, that is kind of a thing of her character. She cries a lot. Let's just see. I'll see how the rest of her arc plays out in this storyline.
If I didn't know, I'd think the two of you were really sisters.
You think so? I always wished I had a little sister like this. I'm just an only child, after all.
You have brothers. Two great ones.
No, I don't. Real brothers would tell me things and let me into their lives a little. But those two have always kept me at arm's length from anything that actually matters.
Crazy. I'm sorry. That was a crazy line from Hughes to just, like, throw that in there. To just make that assumption that that's the relationship they have. In the manga, it's Winry who says that, right? Winry is the one who's like, oh, yeah, they're like brothers. We, like, grew up together, or whatever. You know, I think it's crazy for any other character to just be like, yeah, you're like brothers. Like, when did you get to make that decision? I think it's Winry also that points out that her and Alicia are like sisters. Yeah, she says, we've always been together since we were little, so he's like a brother to me. Which is, like, completely fair for somebody to state that about their childhood friend. But Hugh's just rolling up in here just being like, yeah, you have two brothers. I'm like, bro, bold statement. I'm not sure how I feel about the handlement of Winry thus far. I mentioned it in the last video, I've not been particularly impressed. With the exception of Ross, I've not been impressed with how O3 treats its female characters, and this is not helping. Because all of the lines here in this conversation thus far, in this, like, dynamic, that were supposed to be Winry, asserting her feelings, talking about her feelings about things, how she feels about people, all this stuff, having a conversation, are being said by Hughes. And that's not a good look. But this is also it's a prevalent issue I've noticed in a lot of older anime. I don't know about newer anime because I haven't kept up with the newer stuff. But, like, just a lot of, you know, these early 2000s and 2010s anime had a really bad habit of taking the female characters and giving their moments and their dialogue to the male characters. And I've noticed that a little bit with Winry's character. Now, with Ross, they did good. They actually, Ross and Trisha, right? And Trisha and O3 have gotten really good treatment and were actually given more character than what they originally had. Winry, on the other hand, I have not been particularly impressed with the way O3 has handled her. And this is not helping because they're taking all of her dialogue where she's talking about her own feelings and asserting herself in the story and giving it to Hughes and making him assert those things about her. Having him be the one to be like, oh, you're like brothers. Oh, hey, you look like Alicia's sister. Or instead of, like, letting Winry have her own agency in that conversation and her relationships with the other characters, especially the male characters, and, you know, her love interest. And it's an unfortunate problem that a lot of early anime has. Probably one of the most atrocious examples of this is the anime Noragami, which, if you don't know, Noragami is my other favorite manga of all time. Okay, I fucking love Noragami so much. And there are entire sequences that are specifically about the female characters in the manga that are they are, like, completely removed from that storyline in the anime, and it's given to, like, the male main character instead. And it's so annoying every time they do it. That anime pisses me off so much. It's such a bad adaptation. I know everybody always talks about wanting a season 3, and I'm like, no, I need that anime to get the Brotherhood treatment. I need a full-fledged reboot, okay? Because they fucked it up so badly.
Sorry, can't help that. Guys like them, they speak more with their actions than their words. They like people to be happy. They do dangerous work, and they don't want to burden anyone else with their problems or make them worry about them. So they keep quiet. But despite all that, when the pressure valve breaks and they have to talk, you're the one they'll go to. Right? You're the one they can count on when they need to. And that in itself says a lot. But for brothers to count on their older sister, she's gonna have to be there and be strong.
That makes sense.
And I guess I mean, I know that Ed and Winry don't end up together in '03 ultimately because, well, I mean, I remember enough about the ending to know why. But, I do find it very strange. Granted, it is anime. I guess I shouldn't be that surprised by it. I find it very strange just how much emphasis is being put on the brother dynamic with the character who is, in fact, Edward's love interest. There's one line in the manga that is like that, and Winry says it, which is a completely normal, natural thing for somebody to say about their childhood friend who they don't realize they have feelings for. And people's feelings about people, like the people in their lives, change. That's a normal thing to happen. But I am just very, like, they've said it like 3 times in this conversation, and I'm like, hey, besties, why are we putting so much emphasis on this when, you know, Winry and Edward are love interests? But again, this is early 2000s anime, so I guess I really shouldn't be that surprised, all things considered. So is Edward 16? Hang on, he turned 13 in that one episode. Is he 17? Hang on, I'm bad at math. Okay, math is not my strong suit. There's a reason I'm an English major. He'd be 16 or 17 now. Damn. Is he 19 in Conqueror of Shambhala? I always thought he was 18. Is he actually 19? My brain just imploded. He's 18 or 19, I guess. Fuck. How old is Edward? I'm... Math. Math, not my strong suit. Somebody else answer that.
I did something awful to him, Winry. I had the chance to do it, to change him back to normal.
Yeah.
Hesitated.
And how come?
Because in order for it to work, I would have had to sacrifice some other people. It all would have been for Al. Compared to him, those other people shouldn't have meant anything to me. But I just couldn't do it.
It's called being
Not
a
with him
good
watching
person.
Me, my conscience got in the way.
See, this is what I was talking about. This is what I'm talking about. He thinks it's about that. He thinks it's about, yeah. Edward. Ugh. This is why you need to communicate. This is why you need to have conversations with the people in your life. If something is wrong, fucking talk about it. Don't jump to conclusions and make up shit in your head or assume that you know what's going on. Fucking have a conversation. This is partially me yelling at myself as well because I'm not particularly good at this either. I do in fact find Edward to be a very relatable character for this exact reason.
It's a good thing it did. After all, Al is a selfless person. He wouldn't have been happy in that body. Even if it's what he wants most, how could he take that burden, seeing the ones who died every time he looked at his skin?
I promised.
Think about it. Maybe there's another reason. Maybe he's upset because he saw the brother he idolizes even consider taking someone else's life.
Still not quite there, but...
Listen, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna fix you right now.
No, that's not...
I brought these parts from Risenbull. They
That's
should be
not
enough.
gonna-
How's that?
That's how you made me this way when you attached my soul to this armor in the first place, isn't
Here
it?
it comes.
That's right.
Along with my memories.
Yep, here it comes. Okay. This is the moment of truth with this storyline of how I'm gonna feel about it. Let's get this over with.
After all, memories are just information you can reference, like a cabinet of files. As skilled an alchemist as you are, you could have created any memories you wanted me to have.
Fake memories? Don't tell me that's what you're upset about.
Why shouldn't
Don't
it
be so dismissive,
A
Edward.
while back in Risenbull, there's something you wanted to tell me, but you couldn't. You
No.
said you were afraid of how I'd react. You remember that, don't you? I can't remember parts of my past because they never happened. My memories and my soul.
So there's another element of why I don't like this arc, right? I am one of those people who cannot endure secondhand embarrassment. And one of the things that triggers that is when a character is so extremely wrong and very confidently wrong about something. And that is a big part of why I struggle with this arc. It's because Alphonse here triggers so much of that I can't stand secondhand embarrassment. That kind of secondhand embarrassment that makes me want to just like curl up in my own skin. Because it's like, dude, you are so wrong. I get why you're wrong. I get why you think this. But man, it sets off that little like, I don't know if cringe is the right word, but that cringe response when it's just like, oh, you are so off base, dude. And it's hard to endure. It's just hard to endure. And this right here, this type of situation sets it off so bad in me. And that is a major part of why I never liked this arc. All the other stuff I've already mentioned about struggling to relate to it and like understand it. But also this is a big one. And as much as I do think 03 has handled this arc better than the manga, which is impressive, it did not defeat the secondhand embarrassment. Nope. It still has that. That issue is still prevalent. And I just...
Soul are fake! Something you created! Isn't that what you wanted to say?
No! What Ed wanted to tell you was that—
Stop lying to me!
Jesus Christ!
I know what the truth is. The person named Alphonse Elric never existed at all.
That makes no sense!
Yeah.
You and Ed have always been together. I knew you when you were a boy. My grandma did too. We're friends, Al. You can trust me.
Can I? Really? How can I believe anyone when there's no way to prove it? When I'm just a hollow shell, all three of you could be in on it together.
There's pictures of you as a child. This is the other element of it. Although I was just like, well, I like Winry's response. She's like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, yeah, there's literally pictures of you as children before you lost your body. You know you're real. What the fuck just happened? The fucking video fucked up again, but I think I've got it back close to where I was. That thing is like, it makes no sense. You have definitive proof that this is not true. Why did you believe it? But of course, again, as I said in the previous videos, I understand that better as an adult, that it is meant to showcase how young and easily manipulated he is, despite the fact that there are a lot of very logical explanations as to what's going on, right? And, you know, also just the fact that, like, Alphonse's situation is so exponentially fucked up and crazy that, yeah, it makes sense that he'd have some real issues with his perception of reality and knowing what's real and what isn't. There's a loud-ass truck coming. Hang on. I get it now. But it's just one of those things where my logical brain goes, it's so easy to prove this isn't the case, that the idea he ever believed it just seemed absurd to me. I do think that 03 has done a better job of setting this up, and I think the overall execution is better in 03. I do still have a lot of the same complaints, though. Alphonse is kind of going crazy, so let's see where this goes.
So, you've been sitting on those thoughts all this time. Is there anything else you're hiding that you want to say?
What about you, my so-called brother?
Jesus Christ.
Answer my question. Why won't you say anything? Unless it's true! Let go of me. What's the point of living this lie?
You idiot!
Let go of me! Let go!
Ow!
Okay.
Stop!
I won't stay here!
Edward!
Oh my god!
Alphonse,
Stay back.
Jesus.
hold on.
Just stay back. Keep away from me!
Please, Al!
Jesus.
Ow!
Okay.
Wait!
Ed, no!
Okay. Okay, so this is where we're going with this. This is where we're at. Where I'm at mentally with this and this assessment. Because again, I know I usually don't, you know, compared to the manga in this way of being like, which one's better? I try to avoid doing that. But just because the 03 had the chance, I will still say has the chance with this one specific storyline to be my preferred version of it, I am doing this. But this is falling into that thing that O3 does, where they make everything so much more intense and dramatic, where they just intensify it, like, to the maximum. Because that's what O3 does, and this is definitely falling into that. So in terms of just, like, character writing, there's a lot of the subtlety and nuance that I do actually like about this storyline that is getting lost in the drama, right? So, for example, the moment when Alphonse has his blow up at Edward in the manga, where he's like, basically reveals what all he's been sitting on and all that stuff. Edward's response to that, right? Where he, like, Alphonse is having one of his rants. He's saying all this stuff about how he's made up, he's artificially created. And Edward slams his fists on the tray, the food tray. And he's like, you were keeping all that bottled up this whole time. Is that what you wanted to tell me? And then it's quiet. We have just like one little panel of Alphonse and a panel of Edward. And then Edward just says, I see. And he gets up and he walks out. And he removes himself from the situation. Just has that understanding of like, I need a moment, you need a moment. I'm going to be the big brother and give both of us that space that we need, right? And so that subtlety of the character and that subtlety of the dialogue and the writing is lost in the drama of O3, because O3 can border on soap opera sometimes. I'll say it. O3 borders on soap opera level drama at times, and this is falling into that. Where I think the buildup of this arc has been better in O3, but the actual climax has lost a lot of its subtlety, which is par for the course for O3. And then Winry has her big moment where she smacks Alphonse. Oh my god, is she not gonna have her moment with Alphonse in this one? This is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about with the female characters not getting their moments in a lot of early 2000s anime. Oh, this is gonna piss me off if she doesn't get her moment with Alphonse. Surely they're not gonna take that away from her. Surely not. I will actually be kind of pissed off if they take that moment from her. Fuck, they're gonna take that moment from her, aren't they? Okay, that's disappointing. That's genuinely disappointing. Again, early 2000s anime. They're sexist. I don't know what to tell you. It's like, oh, manga written by women with actually well-written female characters. Can't fucking have that, can we? Yeah, I just feel like we're losing a lot of Edward's characterization in the drama of it. Right? But I feel like, because I feel like this scene, for all of my complaints with the manga version of this story, this scene does a lot to characterize Edward as an older brother. It does so much for establishing who he is as an older brother, because he really handles this situation with some real maturity. To have somebody go off on him the way Alphonse does, accuse him of the things that Alphonse is accusing him, and his reaction, he gets angry and he slams his fists, and then he thinks, I'm the older brother, I need to be the responsible one, my brother's going through something, right? And none of this is said, as we all know. I love the silence, I love when things are unspoken, and the manga has that unspoken element that is being lost in O3, because O3 is obsessed with drama. It is obsessed with exaggeration, which, again, glorified fanfiction vibes. That's kind of what I'm here for. So, I want to make it very clear, though, with this tangent, I'm not necessarily saying O3 is bad for this. This is the glorified fanfiction I am talking about. I don't dislike what I just watched. I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. I'm just talking about in terms of the actual quality of the writing. O3 kind of lost me in this scene because I lost a lot of that subtlety that I enjoy from Edward's character. Or because they went for drama and soap opera rather than actual subtle character writing. Which is fine for what I am watching O3 for, which is glorified fanfiction vibes. But because this was the one time O3 had the chance to be my preferred story, and it still kind of is in terms of the build-up to this storyline, it is disappointing to see them kind of fumble with Edward's character here. Now again, they could pull it back. They could do something later on in this episode or the next episode, because I'm looking at the time now, it's definitely going to go into the next episode. They could still do something to completely pull me back in. and like reinstate that subtlety of Edward's character. I'm just really worried they're gonna fuck up Winry. And if they fuck up Winry, that's gonna make me so mad. But I feel like they're gonna. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll pull it together. But I don't know if I trust this show with its female characters enough. Or specifically with Winry. They've been good with a lot of the adult female characters, with the exception of Hawkeye, because she has not done anything in this show thus far. But with Ross and Trisha, they did really, really well. And I'm hoping that they can pull Winry around. I don't know. I'm going to see where it goes. Okay, we're going straight into episode 4. I feel like I said everything that I kind of needed to say of, like, setting where my expectations are for this episode in my last rant of the previous episode. So I'm not going to say a lot. I'm going to just, like, go straight into this. Okay, we got Ishvalans. Oh, okay, well, we're doing Scar. Wow, we're jumping straight into Scar after all that. Cool.
Come on, eat something. You need to eat to get your strength back, right?
He's unconscious. What do you want?
Fine, suit yourself.
Oh! Well, that's unfortunate. Hey guys, welcome to War Crimes. Let's go. Just attacking completely harmless, defenseless refugees. Alright. Shout out War Crimes 101. We violating some conventions of Geneva at this point. Woo. Love that. Not that I expect anything better, but...
I'm going to slice through their flesh and bathe in their blood!
How could you do this? How could you do this to my man? I know he's a serial killer, but he wasn't racist. Though, to be fair, I doubt he actually cares whether they're Ishvalan or not. He probably just wants to slice people up.
If I'm just made up, then that means Mom could be made up too.
Oh my god, they're literally pictures. Photoshop doesn't exist yet. Generative AI doesn't exist. There are literally pictures that you have seen.
They still just keep coming. If those wretched state alchemists are indeed still trying to hunt me down, then right now might be their only chance to succeed.
Because you're injured.
What happened to your brother?
I don't care.
Jesus. That, Okay, I get it now. The reason the military is going after the refugee camps is because they're going after Scar. I mean, I would have been more or less fine with that either way, even if there wasn't, like, a reason for it, because, you know, that is kind of the point of Fullmetal Alchemist, is that the military sucks and people are racist towards the Ishvalans. So, unprovoked violence towards them, I would have been completely fine going that route as well. I was just very, like, okay, this is a choice that I don't know where we're going with it, but I you know, I'm here for it. But now I see why it's happening, and like why it's suddenly started happening, and versus like why didn't the military do that sooner? And that is an interesting thing, right? Because I don't think that's something the manga ever really delves into, is like the violence enacted against Ishvalans after the war. Not that I can immediately think of, it's mainly just like what happened during the war.
Who cares about that dumb old thing anyway? Just forget about it, all right?
When I fell.
Hey, wait! Wait for me!
You can't! Somebody might see you! Rick! Leo!
Don't worry, I'll bring them back.
That is also another thing, like, from the manga. As far as I can recall, there are no, like, native Ishvalan names that I can remember. Like, we never hear the name of an Ishvalan character that is, like, the native Ishvalan name. Like, we get characters like Miles, who is mixed, but he has a, you know, a Mestrian, essentially, English name. And then Scar is good, just goes by Scar. We never learn his name. The closest we get is, in the manga, I think what is the person called? It's like the Dali? No, that's Avatar The Last Airbender. Dali? That's still Avatar The Last Airbender. There's the dude, the like religious leader of the Ishvalans. He is called by some sort of, and I don't know if it's a name or if it's a title, right? You know, like if it's essentially like calling him the Pope. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like lie, something like Dalai, the Dalai, Nope, I'm still on Avatar The Last Airbender. I'm gonna move on.
I mean, when we're talking, do you sense anything? Do you think I'm human, even with this body?
Yeah? Interesting to seek validation from Scar, but sure.
Okay, you two go in first.
Wait a second.
Oh, what are you doing? No, this is gonna go bad. No, don't.
Okay, it's clear.
Yep, there it goes. There it is. I fucking knew it.
Holy shit, it's a bazooka!
Whoa, what? Not necessary, man. Oh shit! That's fucked up.
I never told Rick what really happened. But I promised myself that nothing would ever hurt him. Because I would protect him.
Damn.
Over there.
Damn. That's crazy. Well, I can't. You could call that instant karma. I need to be put down. I had something I was gonna say. So, okay. I remember what I wanted to say now. 03, you know how I've talked about, like, with Ross and Hughes and Trisha and stuff, how 03, because they're padding for so much time, can add more to certain characters and stuff. This is adding more to Ishval, right, as a storyline than what's in the manga, right? Because manga, again, as I've said multiple times, very fast-paced. It's boom, 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 everything's happening, and we get the idea of how fucked up Ishval was from the Ishval flashbacks in the manga, which are absolutely butchered in Brotherhood. Don't get me started on the Ishval flashbacks in Brotherhood. They are so bad. But the manga is like, doesn't sugarcoat anything about Ishval, right? But outside of those flashbacks, we don't get a ton of extra stuff for Ishval. We get to see, like, occasional refugee camps, but, like, here, we're seeing refugee camps get attacked by the military. And stuff. We learn a little bit more from Miles about what it was like being mixed and in the military and stuff like that, and how it affected him, and we occasionally see stuff from other Ishvalans and whatnot throughout the story, but we don't get, like, random character flashbacks to the Ishvalan War from, like, the kids or anything like that. But yes, very similar as what's happening with a lot of these, like, side characters, like Ross and Hughes and whatnot, who are getting a lot more characterization in 03. Ishval is also getting more, air quotes, characterization, because we get to hear the stories of, like, random children like this, instead of it just being the main characters whose perspectives we get on it. We get random side characters like this who have a perspective on Ishval as well, which is really cool. That's super interesting to see yet another angle of Ishval. That should have destroyed him. He just got hit dead on by a bazooka. That should have destroyed him. Why do you have a bazooka? Why do they have a fucking bazooka? Listen, I'm American, but even we don't have those kinds of guns just laying about. Damn!
Brother, what are you doing here?
That's a stupid question. We've been worried sick about you. He's been looking for you all over Central.
Winry,
Brother.
please let Winry have her moment.
Fire!
Al, all this time I've been too afraid to ask you. But I need to know the truth, okay? It's my fault you don't have a real body anymore. Do you hate me?
Fuck! God damn it! They didn't let Winry have her moment. I knew it. I could feel it. This is what... This is... It's the era of that anime. This is just what things were like back then, but I don't like it. I knew it. I knew from the moment they were gonna do that. God. Pay attention. If you're watching early 2000s anime that was adapted from a manga, and if the manga has really well-written female characters, you will notice this pattern. That they do this. They take the moments that belonged to the female characters and they give them to the male characters. They do it so frequently. It's so annoying. It's so frustrating. And I know I try not to like criticize based on comparison super frequently, but this is less about Fullmetal Alchemist and more about just anime as a whole from this specific like era. It's a pattern that once you start noticing it, you can't stop noticing it. That anytime a female character is well written and has a big dramatic moment where she influences the plot, that moment is given to the male characters in the anime adaptation. It's, like I mentioned earlier, Noragami is maybe the most guilty one I've ever seen of this. It's like every instance that a female character has any agency or competency in the manga, that moment is then given to the male characters in the show. Fuck. I try not to be too preachy about this type of stuff, but I have been feeling some kind of way. It's frustrating after a while. Dang it, I knew it. I could feel it in my bones that they were gonna pull this shit, because they've been pulling this shit with Winry the entire time. And I've been feeling it. They've made her a damsel in distress. They've made her more, like, klutzy? I don't know if that's the right word. Ditzy. Ditzy's a better word. They made her more ditzy. And then when this was happening, I went, oh fuck, she's getting that early 2000s anime adaptation treatment.
You're a state alchemist, but that doesn't make sense. We're on the same side.
Well, this is a surprise.
Oh, hang on. I like that. I really like that moment of the guy being like, but we're on the same side, and Edward's face changing, being like, wait a minute. That was good. That was good, and it was subtle. Good shit. Good shit. Jesus Christ!
Stop it! Get off me!
Oh my god!
Rick!
No! Rick!
Oh my god! So much just happened. Jesus Christ, Scar!
You can't.
Jesus. So much just happened. Okay. Rest in peace, my man buried the chopper. They kind of fucked you up by the end, but listen, it was good while it lasted. I enjoyed it being around my king. Rest in peace, man. Huh? Now, I know this kid doesn't die. Surely not. I'm not particularly worried about him. Scar coming in with just fucking covered in knives was really funny, though. That was really funny.
Rick! Leo! Where are you? I can't find you! Ah!
Wow, that's fucked.
She was looking for us. She ran into our room to find us and protect us from the soldiers, and that's when... Oh no.
Wow.
What the hell's going on? I was working for the military! So why did that damn state alchemist interfere with us? Did the Fuhrer even know about this? Because maybe I should give him a phone call.
Nice. I feel like I've seen this hentai before. What? Who said that?
I did sense something. Tears that can't be seen, but felt.
Why can he sense things now?
Those tears were human.
Is that called empathy? Is that what you're talking about?
Hey, Scar. So tell me something. Did the Ishbalan people ever possess the Philosopher's Stone? Is that the real truth? And then the military came after it?
No, Ed. It's the other way around. We wanted the stone to keep the military from wiping out our race and our way of life.
But did you create one? A Philosopher's Stone?
Let's get going.
Hold on.
I want an answer!
Brother, let him go.
What?
Those
Okay.
people need Scar. He can help them.
You know what?
So, The Scar storyline is very interesting in this one. Okay, so, like, the element of him killing Winry's parents is no longer on the table. So that obviously doesn't play into their dynamic anymore. So them kind of, like, becoming on, I don't know if friendly is the right word, but understanding, coming to this understanding this quickly makes sense with the context of who these characters are. I do think Edward is maybe a little too forgiving of Scar. Just for, in terms of characterization for Edward, I feel like he would probably still be like, hey, you did murder a bunch of people. Because that's just Edward's character. But I do find this very interesting. I find the Ishvalan storyline is, they're kind of winning me over. You know, I talked about, like, I would have to wait and see how they handled Ishval going forward before I really had, like, a firm judgment on it. Kind of winning me over on that one. I'm feeling much better about it than I did when they first started talking about it. You know, when Marco had his whole little spiel. This was a lot better handling of Ishval, I think, than that was. Okay, so we are officially done with Alphonse's identity crisis arc, which means we are done with any part of the story that I would actually, like, the way that I have done here, compare to the manga and determine whether I like it better than the manga. So from this point onward, we are back to the standard, like, I may talk about the similarities and sometimes compare them just in terms of, like, literary analysis and having fun. But any type of, like, critical comparison, like I was doing here, is gone. We're done. We're done with that. We're going back to the more fun fanfiction vibes. In conclusion, though, what I will say about it is I think the build-up to this arc is a lot better and stronger in 03 than it is in the manga. They set it up a lot more, and I felt a lot more compelled by the storyline. The actual climax of it, though, you know, the big scene on the hospital roof and all that, a little too much. They were doing too much, okay? It was a little too dramatic. And again, we lost all of that subtlety that the manga has that I absolutely love. Even though this isn't my favorite storyline of the manga, the character writing of it is still very subtle. And I very much enjoy that a lot more than I do the over-the-top drama. Which is what 03 is. It's very dramatic. Either way, this still just isn't my favorite storyline from any of the versions of Fullmetal Alchemist. It's just not. It's never been my favorite. But this definitely was, again, in that glorified fanfiction realm, but not particularly the type of glorified fanfiction I like. Wasn't landing with me as much. Is, again, still interesting that Hughes is not telling Mustang about Edward being hospitalized, and I really want to know if they go anywhere with that. I really want to know if anything happens with that. That I'm really interested in. I think they're doing really well with Ishval now that we are actually dealing with Ishvalan characters and seeing Ishvalans in person and not just hearing Marco's perspective on it. I think what we're doing with the Ishvalans is super cool and awesome and good. But yes, now that this storyline is over, this whole, like, actually comparing to the manga in a more critical way, we're back to my usual vibe. This was just the one kind of exception storyline where I was like, oh, 03 has a chance. And to be fair, they did. I think, again, that batch of episodes leading up to it was really good and laid the groundwork super well. I think the actual, like, execution of the big argument, though, was just a little too over the top for my taste. For me personally, that may be a personal preference thing. That may not actually be a flaw in the writing, but just in my personal preference, it was so dramatic and over the top that it kind of became a little comical to me. Because I still had a lot of those same issues of being like, well, it's so easy to prove that you aren't artificially created, that the drama of this became even more ridiculous. And then, of course, as I talked about, I ran on about how female characters tend to be treated by early 2000s anime, which again is not exclusive to Fullmetal Alchemist. It's just that I've unfortunately come across it once again in Fullmetal Alchemist, and that's very disappointing because, you know, some of the best writing for female characters in, like, any anime ever is in Fullmetal Alchemist, so that's an exaggeration. There's tons of well-written female characters in anime and manga, but, you know, Fullmetal Alchemist is literally known for its female characters. Seeing O3, especially because O3 does so well with Ross and Trisha and characters like that, seeing them fumble Winry is really disappointing, right? Because Winry is such a good character, right? I absolutely love Winry. Seeing her be, like, you know, with the Bury the Chopper episode, a damsel in distress, essentially, just somebody to get kidnapped and rescued. And then, you know, her moment of delivering the baby, right, with the Hugheses and whatnot, that being given to Edward. Again, the thing where they take all of the female characters' big moments and give them to the male characters. That's a genuine thing that if you pay attention to early 2000s anime, they do it a lot. And O3, with specifically Winry's character, has been very guilty of it. And I kind of kept my mouth shut until this moment, but it's frustrating, right? It is a very frustrating thing I have with a lot of early 2000s anime. Again, though, like, O3 specifically, or let me rephrase. At least with Fullmetal Alchemist, we have Brotherhood, which is a good adaptation that does, you know, accurately adapt the female characters as well, and all that stuff. Like, we at least get a good version of, you know, Winry's character and stuff in Brotherhood, which can't be said for a lot of other shows, like, for example, Noragami, where we don't have a good adaptation of Noragami. Taking a step back from the manga, though, and just talking about these 2 episodes on their own, enjoyable, fun. I was having a good time. I know I was getting a little intense at moments there, but I was still just very much enjoying myself and having a good time with it. Like I always do. Like, I do genuinely like O3. But, like, you could see why I kind of have that rule of don't criticize based on comparison, because it can damper the mood a lot when you do let yourself do that from time to time. And I don't want that energy. I don't want that vibe. But I don't know, there's part of me that's kind of glad I did it, though, just for this one arc. Just to kind of see what it would be like if I approached O3 with that perspective. And I'm like, man, that's not fun. That's not fun at all. That's just annoying and frustrating. But yeah, I mean, like, these 2 episodes on their own were completely fine episodes. Like, they were good. The hospital one was actually, like, really good. Up until that final scene where everything blew up and it got super, super dramatic and felt like I was watching a soap opera. Like, up until that moment, that episode was actually really, really good. And then this episode was just kind of like a fun filler story. It was like, I enjoyed getting to see and know Ishvaling characters outside of Scar. I really enjoyed that. You know, the overall writing and story of the episode wasn't particularly impressive, but I did enjoy what the episode had to present. Minus the frustrations with them kind of not giving Winry her dues. Which, again, the annoying part of that is that they do so well with Ross, and then turn around, their other female characters are getting, you know, because Hawkeye also hasn't done anything. Like, we've gotten nothing from Hawkeye, which is also frustrating, right? You know, like, Winry and Hawkeye truly have been neglected in O3, and I can't pretend I'm not getting a little bit frustrated by it. Because, again, Ross is so good. They do so good with Ross that it's very like, okay, why can't you give that energy to Hawkeye and Winry? Hawkeye hasn't even, like, been in the show. Barely. I want to say something more positive. I keep going off on tangents about sexism and shit like that. I don't want to end it like this. I want to be more fun. I want more fun vibes. I don't know. I don't feel bad about this recording, but I'm also a little anxious about it because, you know, I maybe was a little more heated than I usually am with this one. But yeah, like, they were good episodes. Rush Valley is coming up, and even though we aren't doing the fucking pregnancy thing, which, again, pisses me off, but maybe Winry can have, like, a moment. I think a lot of what I need from Winry is for them to just give her a big moment that wasn't in the manga, but is O3 original. I feel like that's what I really need from this show with Winry. I need them to, like, give her her dues, you know? The same way they've done with Ross. I need them to give Winry her dues, you know? And same with Hawkeye. Okay, yeah, alright, we're done. I'm done talking. I'm gonna let it be. These were good episodes on their own. I just had some frustrations that I needed to air, and I hope I haven't been too negative about it this one. I'm kind of stressed. I'm kind of anxious about it. But overall, like, really good. And I am really looking forward to what's to come. Because, again, we're getting close to pretty much, like, just getting fully past the manga stuff, which is what I am most looking forward to. Because then what happened with this episode can't happen at all. And that's really what I want to get into. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it all is. And, yeah. Okay. This is 2 hours long. I need to go lay down. I'll see you next time.